Hi everyone, and thanks for being with me. I want to have a conversation about Pauline Hanson because there's an aspect of Pauline that intrigues me no end, and that is primarily the fact that she's remained a racist for her whole career. And the thing, believe it or not, there is something I admire about her, and that is the simple fact that she's been able to remain in Parliament for almost all of her time. There was a bit of a she had a bit of a hiatus at one point where she got into trouble with the law and was locked up. But certainly back in 1996, she entered Parliament and probably has lasted longer than most politicians. You've got to admire her for at least that. But there's an aspect of her, though, which is about this racism that continues and that always remained the same. I would expect that people over time would tend to change their views, to modify their views slightly, to perhaps change the rhetoric that they use, to find better ways of explaining their position rather than being a blatant racist as Pauline Hanson is. And so she appeared on the Danica and James show on Sky News recently, and she had this to say, and I think it is. And I'll play, at the end of this, I'll also play a clip from her 1996 maiden speech in Parliament. And you decide what is the contrast that you might notice.
Agreement with them. He's not prepared to even say that. I don't, as I've said constantly all the time, I don't trust this government. Albanese is a socialist, have no doubt about it. And I've read the white paper, the Labor white paper was about 15, 20 years ago, and I was shocked by it. It's basically opening up our borders to Asia, and that we would invite them down here in droves. They wouldn't have to get visas to actually come down to this country, and that they were encouraging Australians to learn to speak Asian languages. Now, if that's Labor's future for Australia, I'm in fear of that, because I don't want it. I'll be upfront and honest. I don't want it. I don't want us to be Asianised, and I've always said that from 1996 in my first maiden speech to Parliament. So it really concerns me where his head is at. He has an obligation on national security to tell the people what he thinks. We've seen...
So, interestingly enough, she doesn't want us to be Asian. Well, unless we move our country, our hunk of land, somewhere else in the world, we will always be Asian. And I don't know whether Hanson has forgotten that actually directly to the north of us, a few hundred kilometres off our shores, is the largest Muslim country in the world. And this notion that we're going to speak Asian or whatever is just crazy crap coming from Pauline Hanson, as does most of the shit that sort of finds its way through her lips. So I think that we need to see Pauline for who she is. She hasn't changed over the years. She's a bigot. She hates anything that sort of contravenes or is different from the fact that you're white and have red hair. And that if you hold a different view to her, well, then either you're probably a socialist. So regardless of the fact that you might be just progressive. So here's Pauline, though, talking about these very issues back in 1996.
Mr. Acting Speaker, immigration and multiculturalism are issues that this government is trying to address, but for far too long, ordinary Australians have been kept out of any debate by the major parties. I and most Australians want our immigration policy radically reviewed and that of multiculturalism abolished. Yeah. I believe we are in danger of being swamped by Asians. Between 1984 and 1995, 40% of all migrants into this country were of Asian origin. They have their own culture and religion, form ghettos and do not assimilate. Of course I will be called racist, but if I can invite who I want into my home, then I should have the right to have a say in who comes into my country.
Okay, so she says, yeah, it's okay to call her racist. Okay, Pauline, you're a racist. I've said it. Live with it. It's just the way you are. And But I think the saddest thing for me is that there are so many people in this country who agree with Pauline. It was interesting that she won this election initially in 1996 as an independent in the seat of Oxley in Queensland. She's since lost the seat, went to the Senate, and has been very successful there, but it really hasn't been very successful in the House of Representatives. But what it does indicate to us is that there are a lot of people who think like Pauline does, who are racists. And as I've said before, the voice vote indicated the degree to which we either don't understand our constitution and the importance of Indigenous affairs, or we're racist. Which one is it? I suggest that to a large extent we're ignorant and therefore racist. Pauline Hanson has always been racist. The fact that she still has the opportunity to air those views on Sky News I find appalling. And the fact that she's on there incessantly. Like it seems almost every night, if they want to drag out something that is critical of Albanese, they get Pauline Hanson to speak to it. She's incoherent. She has views which are simply outdated, and she is an appalling individual. What more can I say? Let me know what you think about Pauline Hanson in the comment section below. And please remember to subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell for further notifications. Let me know what you think about all the posts that I put up. In the meantime, take care, look after yourselves, and more importantly, be safe.